Good evening. 7 News can reveal a major safety overhaul in the wake of a horror multi-vehicle concrete crash on the North-South Motorway. Madison Stanley joins us live. Maddie, police say the truckie was on his phone and not even wearing a seatbelt.
Well, that's not all. He's also accused of failing to properly secure his massive load of concrete. Since then, the Transport Department's made significant changes to ensure a shocking accident like this can't happen again. 2 of 3 15-tonne concrete slabs earmarked for the Torrens to Darlington slid off the back of a truck at Bolivar earlier this month, slamming into 3 parked cars. It happened when the driver suddenly hit the brakes on the motorway after a ute cut in front of him. Miraculously, 2 pedestrians escaped serious injury. But the Transport Department's not taking any chances, introducing strict protocols. From now on, deliveries from the Torrens to Darlington will be capped at 2 concrete slabs per load to ensure they can be safely secured.
So previously we were carting, whilst a limited number, there were 3 per truck. We put these over-engineered restraints in to make sure it's done safely and get people up to speed with the way this should be done correctly.
Now the truckie, a 38-year-old from Para Hills, has been suspended and slapped with a 12-month loss of licence. Police say he was on his phone when the accident occurred and not wearing a seatbelt. And while investigations continue, officials are hopeful the new changes will help to improve the safety of all road users. Will?
Thank you, Maddie. Just 24 hours after winning the Tasmanian coaching job, Ken Hinkley is already talking about achieving what he couldn't at Port Adelaide, a premiership. Hinkley surprised a few in the footy world by landing the inaugural gig over some big-name candidates in a deal 18 months in the making.
Kenny, king of the kids, and now Tasmanian royalty.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think we're going to win.
He's a great connector, and that's going to be hugely important for us as we bring together our first playing group, but also a great connector in terms of bringing this state together.
After 13 years and 297 games in the top job at Port Adelaide, Hinkley beat Nathan Buckley and John Longmire to the Devils job.
Look, I'm not going to comment on who may have been involved or not, or of the process of undertaken.
Hinkley, a career coach.
I'll share with the line when I first spoke to Brendan, probably 18 months ago, is that I'm a footy coach. That's what I know. I don't know too much else. I just know what a footy coach does and how he behaves.
The 59-year-old can already picture his family calling Tasmania home. The Devils hierarchy biting back at outgoing Giants chief Dave Matthews, who claims the Apple Isle is an unattractive destination for players to have a career.
A bit rich of Dave to lean in, given he's never lived here, and in fact he's never lived in West Sydney either. The Prince of Balmoral.
Well, if you're uneducated, you don't know. I think that's really important. You've got to know what you're talking about.
Hinkley now the salesman for the game's biggest stars. Zach Butters, Tom Green and Tasmanian Alex Pearce, all on the shopping list.
I haven't, but I hope our list manager has. And I hope our recruiting manager has. I hope that's going on. So that's what all good football clubs do, and we're a good football club.
Hinkley officially begins on November 1. Tom Morris, 7 News.
The plight of shattered home buyers at the new Springwood development near Gawler has now been elevated to a top priority by State Cabinet. The Premier's personally intervened in the issue, first aired by 7 News, and sent the strongest warning to developer Welco, which has cancelled 100 building contracts. He rejects a disputed road upgrade as a valid reason for leaving potential buyers stranded and lays all blame on Welco.
To in effect walk away from that contract, but does it under false pretences, that they can expect a consequence on the back of that.
He says a special commissioner will explore all legal options against Welco unless it reinstates the contracts. Welco has had no further comment. Crow star Darcy Fogarty is right now fighting to overturn his 3-game ban for striking at the AFL Tribunal. Let's go live to Josh Money at West Lakes, where Fogarty is appearing via video link. Josh, how's he faring?
Well, Will, the tribunal has been deliberating for about 20 minutes, so you get the feeling we are very close to an outcome in this case that's been brought forward to give the Crows time to prepare for Thursday night's Collingwood clash. It's a game that Fogarty is hoping to be available to play in. He's awaiting to hear whether his 3-game ban for striking is upheld. He's been charged with careless high contact with severe impact for the challenge that left Sydney's Harry Cunningham concussed. The star forward argued it was an attempted tackle with an open arm aimed for the midsection and that the Swans defender dropped lower than he expected. His teammate Taylor Walker was frustrated on Fogarty's behalf when he spoke to 7 News today.
It's interesting, Josh, because you know, as a tall forward, you get told to play with a presence and insert yourself on the game, and I know there was no intention, no malice in that tackle. So you stand here as a player quite confused. Yeah, it's very tough as a player.
Now, given the concussion to Cunningham, the Crows will struggle to prove that their impact grading should be anything less than severe, but they are trying, and therefore he will be unlikely to have that ban length reduced. So it seems their best hope is to try to convince the tribunal that it was a reasonable football act and have the case thrown out altogether. So as I said, we're deliberating as we speak, so not too far away from an outcome, and we'll bring that to you later in sport.
All right, thank you, Josh. Police are hunting for an arsonist tonight after a huge fire gutted an Edwardstown crash repairer, causing more than $1 million damage. Firefighters fought for hours to save neighbouring businesses, while shattered customers arrived this morning to find their prized vehicles destroyed.
A desperate firefight as an inferno rages at a Raglan Avenue crash repairer.
Being a mechanical workshop, there's very likely to be sort of solvents and chemicals and petrol and things like that, as well as paints. We're very aware of the fact that there's a lot of dangerous things that that could have really affected the fire.
More than 40 firefighters and 2 aerial appliances called in. Foam was used to smother the blaze as crews fought to stop it spreading to neighbouring businesses.
We had crews above as well as on both sides of the building working really hard to prevent that spread.
Daylight revealed the scale of the damage. The workshop gutted, the roof collapsed. Several customers' vehicles were destroyed, among them a prized BMW that had been left at the business for repairs. Its owner arrived this morning to find it reduced to a charred shell.
It was a beautiful car. I've had it since about 6 years. I'm so looking forward to getting it back. It hurts.
Investigators are treating the blaze as suspicious. Police say a 2014 white Holden Commodore was stolen from the business just before the fire started.
It's nuts, like everything in there is just melted, disintegrated.
I just hope that whoever did this and targeted this site pays the price.
Damage is estimated at more than $1.5 million. Jonathan Edwards, 7 News.
Now to the chilling first-hand account of the moment the body of an Aldinga Beach mother was set alight to conceal her murder. Jonathan Parker's admitted he set the fire, but has blamed the killing on the victim's ex-wife.
Crystal Marshall was killed and her body set alight inside the bedroom of her Aldinga Beach home in 2023. She lived in the property with her ex-wife Anastasia Marshall and a tenant, Jonathan Parker, who started a secret relationship with Anastasia. Parker's pleaded not guilty to murder, but guilty to destroying human remains. He's told the court on the day of the killing, both women had argued, and later, when he saw Crystal's lifeless body lying face down on the bed, he immediately confronted an evil-looking Anastasia. "What the f*** have you done?" She allegedly replied, "What does it matter? She's dead." Parker admitted it was his idea to set fire to Crystal's body to protect his lover. "I soaked a heap of wood in accelerant, put that over Crystal's body, then I used the last of the accelerant and tipped it over the bed." Parker says he assumed Anastasia had committed the crime, but didn't press her on what had happened. The prosecutor suggested he didn't have to. "Because you are the one that killed her, you knew full well that she was dead and how she died because you were responsible." Parker replied, "That's not true."
While under intense cross-examination, Parker at times appeared nervous and flustered, even when he denied telling a friend that he'd choked out Crystal Marshall.
Murder charges against Anastasia Marshall were dropped. She's admitted helping Parker to conceal the crimes. Deanna Williams, 7 News.
Pauline Hanson has boasted about having one of the worst attendance records in Parliament declaring she simply doesn't turn up. The One Nation leader squarely in the spotlight.
The program has gone to air, but for Pauline Hanson, the spotlight is only intensifying.
Who said it was going to be an onslaught?
Oh, come on.
In an extended interview shown here for the first time, boasting about not doing part of her job.
Your Senate estimates hearings record is the worst.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I don't turn up.
Claiming committees which take evidence on the detail of legislation and the budget aren't worth her time, but insisting she never misses a day in the Senate chamber.
I'm there at Parliament every time when Parliament's sitting. Yes, I am there.
Adamant that outside 7 days suspension for this stunt, she hasn't missed a single day.
When you're passing legislation, I'm there every day.
But official parliamentary record shows she's not. Far from it. Since entering the Senate in 2016, she's missed 76 sitting days, 60 of them without leave, including an entire 2-week sitting in October and November when she joined mining billionaire Gina Rinehart on her private jet to Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate for a Conservative conference, skipping 8 sitting days and 96 votes on 22 pieces of legislation.
She needs to front up to the Australian people, explain herself and apologise for trashing this country.
And questions too over massive budget cuts she tells Spotlight she'd make, about 3/4 of which, $45 billion worth, don't seem to exist.
We'd get rid of the climate change department, about $30 billion a year.
The department's real budget, just $8.7 billion.
Then you've got the Aboriginal industry, and that's another $30 billion.
Total Indigenous funding, though, just $6 billion. While on another topic...
And she also said she loved mass deportation.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Barnaby Joyce adamant.
She didn't say that. It's ridiculous.
But she did.
Do you think, Senator, this concept of mass deportation is a good one?
Oh, I love it.
A love now denied. To put Pauline Hanson's attendance record in perspective, she's missed the equivalent of 1 full year of parliamentary sittings in the decade since joining the Senate and skipped more than 2,000 votes on legislation from immigration and terrorism to health and pay. Now, her followers do forgive her a lot. One Nation's vote rose a point back to 30 in today's news poll. But on this, even the most diehard supporters are well within their rights to say, please explain. Will?
Thank you, Mark. Jackie Weaver and Ray Martin have led tributes to Darren Hinch at a stirring state funeral for the broadcasting legend. There were plenty of tears and plenty of tall tales, with Hinch saving one last salacious headline until the very end.
The human headline right to the end. Darren's current partner, former actress Linda Stoner, laid a rose on his coffin.
Jackie Weaver here, Darren's third wife.
Was shooting a TV series in Western Australia, but in her message greeted all the women Darren loved.
Hello. I won't mention you individually, we don't have the time. And in the immortal words of Steven Spielberg, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Darren always insisted
the only thing history owes the dead is the truth.
So today, this breaking news about his interview with singer Bette Midler 53 years ago.
Darren and Bette Midler engaged in a bit of horizontal romper after that interview.
A newspaper American correspondent. He revolutionised talkback radio, hosted a national TV show.
He was brave and brash, with an ego that could light up a small city. But he was also very likeable, and I liked him a lot.
He was jailed for contempt of court in his fight for child sex abuse victims.
Some people pass through life, through public life that is, without leaving a ripple. I tell you, as most of us here know, he created tsunamis.
The way you changed my life. No, they can't take that away from me.
At one stage, he drank 6 bottles of wine a day. Liver cancer led him to a life-saving transplant.
His new liver gave him 15 years, formed his own political party, and election to the Senate. This is an extraordinary achievement for a 72-year-old.
That's life. That's life.
The service finished with his signature song that ended his show every day.
Riding high in April, shut down in May.
Goodbye, my friend. That's life.
Goodbye. I love you, Joby. I've loved you from the very start to the very end.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
The World Cup final looked more like a Super Bowl in New York thanks to a star-studded halftime show. There was only one goal in the decider, but it was enough for Spain to break Argentine hearts.
Champions of the world.
Oh, Spain!
Glory in New Jersey, celebrations in Madrid and Barcelona. Spain living the dream, the greatest of all time, reduced to tears.
Perfection is hard to repeat.
After a day that began with joy and hope, 80,000 fans in New Jersey as Tom Cruise set the stage. With the best seat in the house, flying in on Marine One. Enter a final kicked off. The real game was celebrity sightings.
Matt Damon, another amongst the cast of stars.
Spain behind the wheel, from the Queen of Pop to the world's most famous puppets. Here, when the wait was over, Spain was relentless.
Lamar Torrens, who's had a hit, parried
by fury and frustration. Argentina heartbroken, angry, and not hiding it, as Messi cut a lonely figure. So a dream outcome for Spain, winning what is their second World Cup title, but absolute heartbreak for Argentina and their fans. Probably the last time we'll ever see Lionel Messi in a World Cup, not the way these fans wanted to say goodbye to him. A full circle moment. The baby Messi once held. This is Lamine Yamal's time now, shared with his little brother. Donald Trump, as expected, front and centre, as the Spanish celebrated across the globe. Parties as big as the champagne bottles overflowing in the Champions Room. In New Jersey, Rob Scott, 7 News.